All right, next is D2, the presentation of the Farmers Branch Fire Department's Award of Exemplary Action to Sherrie and Chris DeFraites, Debbie Pileggi, and Kurt and Julie Hofmeister for using CPR to save the life of Wayne Michaels. And I'm going to let the chief explain this because he's going to do a much better job than I would, but I think a quick takeaway from this and what we should all learn is that we need to act when we see someone in trouble, and understanding these stories, the steps that were taken, and the measures that were used to save this life is something that we could all learn and take with us so that if we ever encounter a similar situation, that we know what to do. And it's not a hesitation, it's an immediate action. And so, I will turn it over to Chief Parker to share the story about how several individuals in this community acted quickly and saved an individual's life. And it's truly remarkable.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. Yeah, tonight we are going to celebrate the saving of a life, and that's a very special thing to do. And I'm so glad that there's a good crowd in this audience to be able to hear it along with the council, because it really talks about what it means to be a community, for people to step up when they're needed, help is needed, and to act and to do the right thing, and it really makes a difference. And so I don't want to get into a great long discussion about the paramedic medicine that sort of helped with the saving of a life, but I'm going to talk about a chain of survival that needs to happen to make this to be an evening that we can celebrate. The first thing is early recognition of the event. The second is to be able to quickly call 911 to get help coming. The third is to have access to a defibrillator. Fourth is to start CPR. And then fifth is to get the patient to the appropriate facility where they can have the correct treatment to be able to let them have a quality of life. So I'm going to introduce people in the reverse order of how the night of May 10th started. So the first group I'd like to bring up is Engine 131 and Medic 131. They were on duty that night. So I'd like to ask Acting Lieutenant Brian Hardy, Driver Jonathan Delalio, Firefighter Paramedic Andrew Card, Firefighter Paramedic Mike Mania, and from Medic 131, the ambulance, Firefighter Paramedic Robert Shimodi. So this is the back end, and this is normally what people sort of think about when they talk about somebody's life being saved. And these guys do that every day. But where the life was saved happened much earlier on that night. And so at this time, I'd like to ask Sherrie and Chris DeFraites to come forward. And I'd also like to ask Debbie Pileggi to come forward. Pileggi to come forward, Debbie. So May 10th, it's a nice night in Farmers Branch. We're at the Brookhaven Country Club tennis court. We're playing tennis. It's an evening that happens a lot. And not much is going on until something did happen. And at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Wayne Michaels to come forward. So that night, Mr. Michaels was playing tennis. He started feeling not well, decided he better go sit down, and before he could get to the bench, he collapsed. And Mr. Michaels, you died.
I did, briefly.
Yeah, briefly. And this is the good story. Immediately, the DeFraites recognized what had happened, and Sherrie, being an RN nurse, immediately came over and decided, this is wrong. Started looking what's happening, thinking there was a seizure taking place, and then suddenly, no, it's more than a seizure. He's not breathing, and he has no pulse. So they immediately started CPR, one of the key issues of the chain of survival. She sent her husband to get, Debbie, I need an AED. And they went and they got it. As they were waiting for the AED, CPR started and was continued until the AED got there. The AED was applied. The AED did what? Told you to shock him.
Shock him.
And they shocked him one time. And by the time Engine 131 and Medic 131 got there, these are highly trained paramedics. We have the most advanced life-saving equipment in the world on that ambulance. Mr. Michaels was alive. He was breathing, and he had a pulse. And that's a great thing. So, for your actions in saving the life of Mr. Michaels, I'd like to award the three of you the Farmers Branch Award of Exemplary Action. Oh, thank you, Brian. Chris? Sherrie? And Debbie. You are what make a community. You what make Farmers Branch special. You what make Brookhaven Country Club special. And what you did impacted this man's life. And for that, I am so thankful. The award of exemplary action.
It was just an incredible amount of luck to be in such a position and have people that I wasn't even aware that were next to me that were capable of handling the situation. So grateful.
Thank you.